Hello and welcome back to Buckle Up. I'm Harry King and this is the Omoda 5. This is a brand new brand coming into the UK for the first time. This is their first car. Let's see if it's any good. Okay, so we're actually at a launch event today. I'm by myself. I only have about an hour and a half with the car, so we're going to do this classic Harry POV style. Here we are at the front of the Omoda 5. As you can see, it has an interesting lattice work grille. We've got what is now the trend of a low main beam light and high T-shaped LED running lights. LED lights across the range. There are two trim levels for this, Comfort and Noble, which I don't know what Noble Supercars thinks about that, but so far Omoda seems to be getting away with it. As we move round the side, you will see that this is quite a low profile crossover SUV. This is actually C segment sized. It's about the size of a Nissan Qashqai, but the pricing is incredibly competitive, which we will get onto later. I'll come down and show you the wheels. These are 18-inch wheels. As you can see, they're very sort of aero style, I imagine for efficiency. Although interestingly, this is a pure petrol car, which is increasingly rare these days. I'm just going to move around to the back. Sorry, there's some... It's muddy. It's very muddy. Here we are at the back. As I squelch around, we get an Omoda 5 badge here and the brand name, and then also 290T. T will be turbo. It's a turbo engine. I'm not entirely certain what the 290 signifies. We've got some exhaust style things down here, though they are in fact not exhausts. They are just elements in the bumper, as well as a kind of silver and, oh dear, what's this? Oh dear, fake carbon fibre. Was that necessary, Omoda? We'll open up though the tailgate, which is electric, and it will reveal a 380 litre boot, which is fine in this class. Obviously, vehicles like the Nissan Qashqai have a very similar sized boot. There are larger cars in class that offer more space, but this is physically a smaller car in this class. I'll just show you, there is underfloor storage, and also if I lift that up, which is very, very graceful, look, a space saver spare and a jack. Now that is uncommon in any segment of car these days, to be honest. Just looking here, you've got a 12-volt socket. I've got a light, which is lovely. You've got some tie-down points on this floor that lifts up, and look, lots of space for my rucksack. Proper parcel shelf, but I will lift this out of the way and let's see how easy it is to fold the seats down. If I reach through and push. Well, my driver's seat appears to be in the wrong place to let this happen fully. That goes down. And then you see we do have a somewhat continuous load space, though obviously the seat backs are still slanted, not completely flat load area. Speaking of those seats though, let's go and have a sit in them. Now, if you hadn't realised, I am effectively discovering this car along with you due to the time constraints. But here we are in the back seats. First thing I'm noticing, not the most space in the world. Though when I think about the Qashqai, this is very similar in terms of space back here. This is in my driver's position. I am 180 centimetres tall and my knees are against this seat. The seat back though is nice and soft, as is this area of the door. It's not too hard, so I'm not kind of being pinched. It's not painful. I do have just about enough headroom, which is quite impressive actually when you look at the profile of this car. I wasn't necessarily expecting that. I appear to have a cutout and the roof drops down to accommodate this sunroof in front of me. In terms of practicality and materials, this is a faux leather, pleather, vinyl, whatever you want to call it. Perforated in the centre, flat middles. It's nice and soft though. I've got Isofix with flip out covers so they don't get lost. Nice and easy to access. The seats themselves, they're comfortable, they're broad. I've got headrests which are also comfortable. I'm not quite... Oh yeah, no. spot on. Seat back pockets as well on both seat back. I have a USB here in the centre, an A, and just a single one, and some air vents, which is quite good. If I fold this down, I do have a couple of cup holders. They have little rubber tabs to keep your cup in place. And I've also got okay sized door pockets. You'd fit a bottle in there, as well as maybe a phone or a wallet. Overall practicality then is pretty good. Now, I'm going to say two things. One, remember this is, well, it's C segment, it's on the small side, it's Qashqai size, which is the small end of the segment, but it's also the small end of the segment on a price front. So this starts from around £25,000. Which is similar to the MG HS, which is a bigger car, or the Citroen C5 Aircross, which is about this size. But this is a top spec model for the petrol engine, and it's still less than £30,000. It's actually undercutting the MG HS, which I think is very impressive. And there's more tech to get onto in the front, more reasons why that continues to be impressive. But I think the fit and finish in here, and the feeling of the materials and the comfort, air vents, stuff like that, actually completely justifies this price. Moving into the front, I want to continue on that kind of pricing theme. This is a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, which is standard across the range. There is no manual option, which is a shame if you enjoy having a manual, but I think this is very impressive for the price point. You may notice I have a camera up here. I am, to some extent, throwing myself on the mercy of what B-roll there may already be filmed by the PR team. I'm not certain, I haven't had time to check. I may grab a couple of bits, but I'm very sorry if you don't have the clearest view of anything inside this car. I will do my best though to explain. 10.25 inch infotainment system, 2 screens, both 10.25 inches. The graphics are clear, it's fairly responsive. The wireless Android Auto works very well. That's great. I've got a wireless charger here. They're very proud of the fact it's vented. They've got a proper AC vent as well. I do have a few proper buttons as well though, or I say proper buttons. The climate controls are kind of touch sensitive on piano black plastic, but they're permanent, they're illuminated. When you press them, a shortcut screen comes up with extra climate controls, but my heated seats, for example, are here on physical buttons. I've also got a home button and a surround view camera button here, along with my rotary volume control, 2 cup holders and a large center console storage area. Look how far my arm goes in there, and it's cooled as well. You've also got a big glove box. It's not cut in half or anything, it's damped. It is hard plastic on the inside, but very, very spacious. Sleek styling on the interior. You've got this kind of flash of piano black that comes up into the screens. You've got this kind of textured effect on the doors to kind of give you the impression of maybe wood. And then these little gold elements have got them around the seats as well. These seats are the same vegan leather with the perforated centers and solid outers as the back seats. But these seats are very comfortable, nice and supportive. They're coming right up, integrated headrest. It's in the right place for me at 180 centimeters, but it's nice and tall. It looks like it would suit a large range of height of driver. I've also got a multifunction steering wheel. I've got kind of my smart cruise on this side, heated steering wheel control here, a favorite button, and kind of radio controls on this side. This to me looks like an attention sensor, so we will see if that is particularly aggravating when we go for a drive. Standard though, indicator and headlight washers, windscreen wipers, all that jobby, because your gear stick's down here, not behind the steering wheel. I think this is very, very nicely put together. If you sat me in this car blind and told me that this was £28,000, or asked me to guess the price point, I would be into the mid-30s at least. I think this interior is as nice as Nissan's, for example, who obviously have never struggled to shift units. Let's see though how it drives. Right, let's go. I've got my cheat sheet here to keep me right, so I guess we can start with some basic figures because they are literally written right there. This 1.6 litre turbocharged petrol engine makes 186 horsepower and 275 newton meters of torque, which are very good power figures for this price point and this segment. So that is already a good start. I've got 3D cameras because I am in the top spec Noble model. So they just popped on while I was indicating out of that road, which is quite handy, and it is a very, very clear system. I am impressed with that. Road manners, we're yet to see. Anything else important? I think I did forget to mention, I've got door pockets, good big door pockets with a cutout for a bottle in them as well. I did just quickly forget to mention that in the interior segment. I've also got a massive space under the center console, sort of like the Hyundai Tucson or Santa Fe used to have. So again, hugely practical, this car. Seating position for driving, I do think I'm a little close to the ceiling. I don't know if I'm maybe sat more upright than normal or what, but it does seem... I wish I could get lower. The other thing I think would be nice is if there was a little bit more adjustment in steering. It does reach and rake, but I have this all the way towards me now, and I may be slightly more bent in the leg than would be ideal, and only just close enough to the steering wheel. If I could be slightly further back, that would be preferable. Although if I was slightly further back, there'd be even less space in the back for someone behind me. A child would be fine, but I don't think an adult would want to sit behind me for a long time if I was any further back in this seat. The cockpit is coming around me though in quite a cocooning way. This is quite high and wide, and I've got my digital dials. Do I have drive modes? I probably will somewhere, won't I? There we go. So what have we got? Normal, Sport, Eco. That's it. Let's go Sport. I've got kind of an orange flash here. Oh my gosh, there's a cyclist just dawdling about. Let's put my foot down. How's that? That's not bad at all. 0 to 62 is handled in just under 8 seconds, 7.9 seconds, which obviously, once you know the power figure, that's not that surprising. But again, for the price point, for the segment, very, very strong. I think this is going to be a very appealing car to a lot of people. It's very, very hard to say no to such good value. It also comes with a 7-year... Sorry, there was a squirrel. This also comes with a 7-year, 100,000 mile warranty. Very competitive, up there with the highest in the industry in the UK. As I've said, the interior is lovely. The exterior styling, while not being particularly bold or groundbreaking, let's say, I think it's a perfectly handsome car. It's certainly not bad looking. There's a couple of nice elements like painted calipers, that sort of thing. Unfortunately, I'm on a road with no road marking, so I can't really test out the radar cruise control. I'll maybe have to try and work out where I can go to test that. Okay, so you join me on the M11 where I've come to test out the active cruise control. As far as I can work out, it's not really steering for me. Although I do kind of have illuminated lines as if it is. But if I sort of let it drift towards one line, is it very very subtle? It's tricky to test this because if you're too insistent on where you're steering, it will just disengage. And also, I don't want to, cause a crash. But I definitely have radar cruise control, and the system is working perfectly well. I've got quite a good adjustment. I can change the speed by 1 mile an hour, which I like. I can change the following distance from the steering wheel, which I like. It's easy to engage. It's working very well. Other things I'm noticing just here on the motorway, the mirrors are brilliant, very, very big. The rear window is quite compact, and I don't have the clearest view behind me, but it's a very raked rear screen, and I would kind of expect that. It's honestly not very dissimilar, again, from the Nissan Qashqai. Has this car been benchmarked by any chance? Apologies for the motorway interlude. I'll get back to the normal B roads now. In this car, I do think it's quite nice. I'm on a slightly undulating road. It's not very noisy in here. The suspension's doing a fine job. The brakes feel good. Now, it's not a sports car, it's a family crossover. But that's, what you want from a family crossover. I'm still in sports mode. Shall we give it a bit? So it's front wheel drive, a little bit of scrabbling there. Come on, change up. The gearbox is very fast. It is a dual clutch. There we go, there's 60. No fuss at all. It's holding me in fourth because I'm in sports mode. It will slowly change up. Performance is absolutely fine. Full brakes, fine. Hazards have come on there. How do I turn them off? Oh, they have turned off by themselves. It's holding the road perfectly well. It is actually trying to read the road lines, which is slightly ambitious on these unmarked B roads. I think we'll have to go back and I'll have to do an conclusion. So, the Omoda 5, what am I thinking? Well, this car represents incredible value for money. C-segment at this price point with this power, loads of tech and a really nice interior. It's hard to say no. Only a couple of things I think I would change. The reach on the steering wheel and maybe the steering feel itself. This engine, while being very powerful and nice, during this test drive, I've only achieved 33 mpg. I'm not sure that's what you want from your family vehicle. That is, of course, while I've been driving it like a road tester, I think you would see better economy than this in the real world. But remember, it's not hybridized anyway, so it will be a bit thirstier than some rivals. But otherwise, it's a good car. It's a really good car, and I think you should definitely check one out if you're looking for a small family crossover, because there is just so much car for your money here. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. If you go down into the description, you'll find all of our links to all of our social medias. Please go and follow us in all of those places. You'll also find two ways you can support the channel. So we have channel merch, which I'm currently sporting, and we also have channel memberships right here on YouTube. So please go and do one or all of those things, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.